Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please ensure to like, share, and subscribe. And also click the bell notification in the top right-hand corner to be made aware anytime I upload tutorials or videos to YouTube. All right, let's craft together. Hey guys, so today I am going to show you how I got pretty close to actually printing an image in Microsoft PowerPoint and then uploading that image into Cricut Design Space and having Cricut Design Space to cut the image out for me. Now, it was not exact, so I do want to tell you that right now. It was not exact, but I'm going to show you what I did, okay? So I brought my image into Microsoft PowerPoint. I uploaded it into Microsoft PowerPoint and then I sized it. So I have this image right now set at a size of, the height is 16.67 and the width is 10.53. Now I'm not doing any slicing or anything like that, guys. I'm using a wide format HP OfficeJet Pro 7740 printer, which allows me to print up to the size of 11 by 17. So I'm not going to be doing any slicing. So if you don't have a large printer that will print up to an 11 by 17, this will not work for you. Okay. So I'm not doing any slicing of this image to get it larger like we would normally do in Cricut Design Space. Okay, so you can see my sizing here, 16.67 by 10.53. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that size down, and I'm going to use that sizing when I get to Cricut Design Space. 16.67 height, and the width is 10.53. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to print this out, and then I'm going to come on camera so you can see the rest of it when I put it into Cricut Design Space. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on File and Print, and I'm just going to print the current slide only. And I am going to make sure that this is on the best print for me. I am using cardstock, so I have cardstock in the size of 11 by 17 as well. All right, so I have it borderless off. I'm using plain paper. It's just going to print on one side, one copy, and I'm using the best print quality. And then I'm going to go to my paper quality, and I want to make sure that I have it on tabloid. So anytime you're printing up to an 11 by 17, if you do not see 11 by 17 as an option here, which I do not, so what I do is I go in and I select tabloid, and that is an 11 by 17. I'm going to select tray 2 because that's where I have my 11 by 17 paper, and then I'm just indicating that I'm using plain paper. Borderless printing is off. Best quality, print in grayscale is off. I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit print. All right, so I have my image now printed out, and I'm going to jump on camera just so you can see my image printed out here. Give me 1 second. All right, guys, so here's the image actually printed out. Now, keep in mind, I said this is not going to, so it's going to cut a little bit on the more curved parts. It will cut a little bit inward than it normally would, but it's as close as I'm going to be able to get. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and load this or put it on my large 12 by 24 mat. And I'm going to get it lined up here. When you don't have the right space, you got to try to work as best you can. All right, so now I have it on my 12 by 24 mat. Okay, and I didn't do any special sizing on the mat. I'm just putting it on the mat as I normally would if I had a 12 by 12 size paper or vinyl that I'm working with. I'm just laying it in the top left corner like I normally would. I'm not doing anything additional, okay? So I'm going to put that down for just a second. Now, I'm going to show you what I'm using. So I'm actually using a cover stock because I bought this at Staples, and they did not have card stock in 11 by 17. They did have 13 by 19, which I was shocked that they had that large. So I'm pretty sure they probably carry the card stock at some point in time in 11 by 17, but they only had cover stock this time, which is just like card stock, but sometimes the grade may be a little bit thinner. Like this one is 67 pounds by which is actually 148 grams. And so you can see here that it's thick. So it's not just plain like regular plain paper. It is thick. So it will work for now. This was $19 and you get 125 sheets. Okay, now you can order 11 by 17 cardstock or cover stock off of Amazon, but of course I was ready to go as soon as I got my printer. So that's how I ended up with a larger, and that's how I ended up just going to Staples. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to take those size measurements that I wrote down based on the size of my image, and I'm going to take those into, when I upload this image into Cricut Design Space, I'm going to put those size measurements in Cricut Design Space, and then I'm going to have Cricut to cut it out, okay? Now, again, keeping in mind that it's going to cut a little bit and leave a little white areas, but I'm totally fine with that, okay? Because I'm just doing this, just testing it out until I exact the process, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump back over to Cricut Design Space so you can see what I'm doing in Cricut Design Space. Okay, so now I am back in Cricut Design Space, and so I'm going to go ahead and bring up my canvas here. I'm going to close this out from where I was working earlier so I can take you through the whole process. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to PowerPoint just for a second because I want to show you the entire thing. So there's no confusion about what I did. So I'm going to take this image and I'm just going to say save as picture. And all I did was just right click, save as picture. And I'm going to put it on my desktop. You can see I've already tested it and played around with it. So I'm going to say image 1, 2, 3. All right, so I got my image named. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now I'm going to go to Cricut Design Space. I'm going to upload image, browse. I'm going to go back to my desktop and I'm going to bring in the image 1, 2, 3. And here it is. Now, this image I got from Pixabay. .com. And so you want to make sure you remove that little white space in the ears because otherwise it's going to pick up that white space. Now, if you want the white space, fine. I always make sure that I click on preview to make sure there's no additional marks in there that shouldn't be. And so everything looks good. I'm going to hide the preview and I'm going to go ahead and click on continue. Now, some people at this point, they will name their image and apply a tag so that they can find the image easily. I'm not going to be doing that, but I highly recommend you do, you know, just for general purposes. Now, this is where people get confused. Most people are thinking that I'm selecting a print then cut image, but I am not because I am not printing anything. You saw for yourself, my image is already printed. So I don't need any registration marks or anything like that because I'm going to select the cut image, the cut image here on the left, and I'm going to go ahead and insert it. And I'm just going to select it here and then click on insert image. And it's going to bring the image in much larger than it really is. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and unlock the proportions. And we're going to type in the sizing that we had in Microsoft PowerPoint, which was 10.53. We're going to tab over to our height, and we're going to put in 16.67 and tab. All right, so now we have our sizing for our image. And what we're going to do at this point is we're just going to bring it up as to the top left corner as far as possible like you normally would. Okay, and so we got that in there. And at this point, you see there's no registration mark. There is no image that needs to be printed because we've already printed it. We're just going to be cutting this image out and that's it. Okay, so even though this looked like it's lined up to the top, guys, you don't want to worry about that because you know that when you are working in Cricut Design Space, it normally shifts the image to the top left anyway, but there is a little bit of room, as you can see here. So when this cut out, it is going to move a little bit, okay? So we're going to leave everything as is. We got it in the top as utmost top left position as we can get it. You can see it can't go any further. And I'm going to go ahead and hit make it. And it's telling me that I have exceeded the 11 by 5, which is fine because I'm using I'm using 11 by 17. So I'm using a 12. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's saying at least one of your images is larger than 11 by 5. And it's giving me this message because I'm using a image that's larger that will exceed a 12 by 12 mat. So it's automatically adjusted my mat size to 12 by 24. And I do have a 12 by 24 mat as you saw. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And at this point, it is ready to go ahead and cut out my image. Now the image is going to look smaller compared to my cardstock that you saw. And that's because my cardstock is 11 by 17 and I'm working with the mat that's 12 by 24. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit continue. And at this point, I'm just going to select medium cardstock and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load my machine. So I'm going to jump back over to the camera where you can see me. All right, so now I am going to go ahead and get my, so we have my image already on mat, cover cardstock from Staples, images from pixabay.com, and it's free for commercial use. I will link it in the description just in case any of you want to use it. My image is 10.53 in width and height is 6.67. Okay, so in Cricut Design Space, I'm going to go ahead and click on, oh, I've already did all that. I'm going to go ahead and insert this into my machine. And again, it will not be exact, guys, but it's good enough for me. All right, so it has completed cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and let's take a look at it and see what we got. So for the most part, it did pretty good. Like I said, I'm going to have some white space on here, but I'm totally fine with it. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. I'm going to go ahead and peel away. So you see it has some white space still in there, but I could always take a brown marker, which is the brown outline here, and just make that brown. Or I can tidy it up a little bit just by clipping it, but I'm not going to. So here we go with the top. So there we have it. Okay, so remember I said it's going to have a little bit of white space still left on there. Like I said, you could take some scissors and kind of tidy it up just a little bit. I kind of snipped a little bit right there on that side, or you could take a brown marker and go around it and make it look like it had that extra thick brown around there. Now, I don't know which one I'm going to do, but I just wanted to show you guys how I did it. And like I said, it's not exact, but it's good enough for me. Okay. So that is how I went in and I printed this image in Microsoft PowerPoint, uploaded it, put the sizing from Microsoft PowerPoint into Cricut Design Space for the image. I didn't lay it on my mat any certain way. I just put it in the top left corner like you normally would, and then let it just cut from there. Okay. So like I said, not perfect, but it's perfect for me. All right. And I just wanted to share with you guys the process on what I did because I kept getting a lot of questions about how did I do it. So like I said, you could use an X-Acto knife, guys, and lay this down on a hard surface and go around and just kind of tidy that up. Or you could just cut it out yourself. I mean, this image is large enough that you could go in and you could cut this out, without even having to go to Cricut. But I know some people prefer Cricut because Cricut is more precise. I have a pretty steady hand, not as steady as what it used to be when I was in my younger days, but I could cut this out and still make it look really, really nice and neat without any issues. But I know how you feel about, being able to have Cricut and do that for us. So I just wanted to share with you what I did. Like I said, it's not precise, it's not exact, but it's close enough. I think I'm going to trim the white from the top of the head because I don't like that. But you could tidy it up, or you can leave that white space in there. But I love him. I love him. And you guys can see, I don't know what I did with my other one, it may have failed. But I kind of practiced with this a little bit to see if I could do it or to see if it would work, And if it's for some kids' party, guys, the kids are not going to be running around saying, oh, it's got some white space right there. So like I said, either, cut it yourself. If you want to let Cricut cut it like I did, then just know that there's going to be a little bit of white space. and either get you a marker that has that outline color and then just go in on the ends and use that so it's not obvious, or just tidy it up with an X-Acto knife. That would be just a real simple thing to do. But it still looks good to me. It didn't chop all my ears off and all my fingers off and all that good stuff. So I'm good to go. So I wanted to share that with you. And like I said, it's not exact, but it's exact or precise enough for me. All right. So just showing you what I did on my end. And if you can perfect it and make it any better, please share it with the YouTube channel, or please share it on the Facebook group, Candoris's Cricut and Creative Crafters, because we're all about teaching others and helping others to learn. And I know this has been like one of the biggies where people want to be able to print larger than, you know, the, what is it, 6.75 by 0.25. I think I got that pretty down packed by now. I think it is in Cricut Design Space. You can't get larger. So I wanted to come up with a method to see if I can get it to print larger in Microsoft PowerPoint, which I know I can, and then bring that same image using the size from PowerPoint into Cricut and have it to cut out the image for me. So again, there is no printing. I'm not using print and cut in Cricut Design Space. I'm only uploading the image as a cut, and you guys saw. So I wanted you to be able to see exactly what I did. And like I said, it's not exact, but guys, you got to say that's still pretty good compared to, you know, if you look up on my wall here, that this little, now I'm about to get like a school teacher. This image right here, this image right here, that's your standard 6.75 by 9.25. And then I did a slice to make it larger. Okay, so that's what you're looking at there. But I don't like having to slice because you can see it. And so that was the reason I wanted to get a larger printer so I didn't have to worry about slicing. But there you go, guys. That's how I did it. And I'm totally pleased with it. Like I said, I'm going to go in and clean it up. If it would have did the white around this part, then I probably would just leave the white. It wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. But I will be cleaning this up, and I will upload this tutorial for you guys in the group and on my YouTube channel. So at this point, I'm going to say, if you're currently in my Facebook group, Candoris's Cricut and Creative Crafters, I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of my group. I highly appreciate it. My group is about teaching you how to do all these different things in Cricut Design Space and some other software. Like you saw me use Microsoft PowerPoint. And in addition to that, you know, just having some networking going on so you can reach out to others in your area, you know, and see what they're working on. You guys may be able to link up, you know, and work together at some point in time, you know. So Candoris's Cricut and Creative Crafters is my private Facebook group. It is not a public group. And if you're currently watching me on my YouTube channel, and you're seeing me for the first time, then please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I want to thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I highly, highly appreciate it. And my motto is each one reach one so that each one can teach one. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. All right, see you next time. Bye.